When you have sufficient oxygen and also have a sufficient sugar intake, your body is able to perform something called cellular respiration. So cellular respiration is basically how you get energy. It's a fairly complex process involving three major phases and a lot of steps. Your cells basically use sugars to try to get something called adenosine triphosphate, which are basically units of energy that your body can use. So for each molecule of sugar, your body is able to get around 32 adenosine triphosphate, although the real amount may be a bit less. Now this is pretty good. However, it's not all the time that your body has access to sufficient oxygen because part of this process requires oxygen. In times of what your body considers to be a low oxygen time, but when your body still needs that energy immediately, such as maybe when you're running quite fast, or maybe when you're doing a short period of work at near maximum effort, your body is unable to get sufficient oxygen to handle enough effort. So it immediately needs energy from another source. This is where anaerobic respiration comes in. It's basically a truncated and modified form of cellular respiration that can be done without oxygen. So you start with sugar or glucose as usual. Then you go through what is basically the first third of cellular respiration called glycolysis. Basically, you split up the glucose into two units called pyruvates, which are slightly different from a half glucose. But then from there, they change again. In human bodies, they change to lactate and then lactic acid. And it's still the same process. You only get 2 ATP, 2 adenosine triphosphates instead of 32 or 27-ish, but this means that it's a lot more inefficient, and it's something that the body only resorts to if it does not have sufficient oxygen and needs immediate energy. This is generally performed for a shorter period of time. This is also called fermentation, and a somewhat similar process results in the producing of alcohol, which is done by things such as yeast and is part of how you make alcohol, but that doesn't really happen in human bodies. So yeah, lactic acid buildup is what can cause muscles to become quite sore after an intense workout. But this is just the difference between aerobic respiration, cellular respiration, which is fairly complex, and anaerobic cellular respiration, which is a bit simpler but way more inefficient, only used by the body in some special circumstances.